I have shelves and shelves of books. Just this morning, I spent 20 minutes emptying one of the shelves for only the second time in 12 years, taking all the books off of it, cleaning all the dust off all the shelves, and then I'm going to put them back up and label them and kind of make them a little more orderly. There wasn't a whole lot of order there. And in the process, I'll find books that I no longer need and that I can give away or sell to try it into my local bookshop. In the process, I can find books I desperately want to read. So then I'll be doing more reading instead of doing, just watching TV at night when I'm tired. So I'm just sharing that because all of us have found time, whether it's making oat milk, I've been doing that. Whether it's making granola, I've been doing that. Whether it's making hummus, I just learned how to do that. My friend is making peanut butter. Guess how many ingredients? One. Other friends are baking bread, beautiful bread. So a lot of us are coming back, gardening. A lot of us are restarting or investing in our gardens. So there's a quality of togetherness and slowing down to quarantine that is precious. Also, the earth is able to heal. I was talking with a wonderful friend yesterday. We went for a walk with my dog and we wound up running into a neighbor friend. We then walked further. We ran into another neighbor friend. We sat on her front porch. I've talked with her for maybe 5 times for 2 minutes each in 12 years. We sat on her front lawn while she was on her front porch for more than an hour. And we discussed her whole life and her family and, our lives and just everything. Does anyone else have that neighbor experience? Just really connecting with your local neighbors? Anyone? Hopefully connecting from 6 feet away. So I don't know if comments are delayed or what. Yes, Lindsay says yes in Hawaii, in Maui. Kelly, yes, neighbors every day. So Courtney, there's a lot of beauty to, I don't know if Courtney is here. This was a question from last time, but there's a lot of beauty to this quarantine time. And then at some point, my neighbor said she couldn't wait to, reschedule her flights and fly to Vietnam and fly here and fly there. We have to begin to take climate change seriously. It is here to stay, and it's only going to get more extreme. So if you have the ability, please don't drive. Go bike to the hardware shop. If you have the ability, don't drive. Bike to your grocery store. Get some panniers in the back, the big bags. If you have the ability, get some free exercise and air. You can do this in the middle of the winter. You have good gloves, whatever, maybe you have a little scarf or headgear, you'll be warm. If you can't bike, you can walk, carpool, bus, make fewer trips in your car. Who here takes climate change a little bit seriously? We can save water in our sinks. We can save the water in a bucket in our shower. When the cold water gets full, you can pour it and use it as a flush in the toilet. We can get a bidet. We can, shop organic. Organic is huge. A lot of farmers, are covered in pesticides all the time. Pesticides kill our insects. Anyone know what percentage of insects have died? 30%. Same with birds, 30%. How many bees have died? 50%. This is all going to start affecting us more and more. We need health. Stop putting yellow flags on your lawn. Maybe I'm talking to the choir. So if I am, then our choir here, we have to engage in kindness. What's the quote? Small community can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. Who's that quote by? Margaret Mead. Maybe we can find the actual quote. It's more beautiful than I can remember. So we have to, if we are the choir, we need to look at our own habits and see how we can change, right? If you're doing a lawn project, like Dave just did a garden project, can you use recycled materials? Can you use an old door for a gate? Can you ask your neighbors, like I am, for the old skis and whatever to build things with? We don't need to keep consuming, and flying around casually. It's, on the one hand, travel is vital to overcoming prejudices. So here's the quote from Emily. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. My mom is not a community. She's one person, yet she made me who I am, most of me. The part of me that's an activist, the part of me that's an environmentalist, the part of me that gets really sad when a moose gets killed in Boulder, or a 100-year-old tree is getting cut down. My mom made the best parts of me. So never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens, in a way that's overstating the case. It just takes one person, one of you, to keep caring. And that takes bravery. Why does that take bravery, Noel? Why does that take bravery, Gabriella or Jeanette or Deborah? Because it's really sad. It's really depressing sometimes to care. That's why I love to say, instead of give a I don't know if there's children here. Any children here? Instead of saying give a we say give a care. Because giving a care, it actually does feel like giving it. It's hard sometimes to continue to care. So maybe we can I keep talking about the moose, Emily or Molly, if you can put that moose article in the sidebar. It's not just about the moose, but it's about the selfish quality that I think Instagram sometimes can feed. But it's our responsibility, not Instagram's fault, which is exactly Jeanette. But the good news is that so many of us could say exactly that. Jeanette said, I sometimes feel so alone, like I'm the only one who cares. So many of us feel that way. So I wrote this article, We Shoot Mountain Lions, Don't We? And it's about mountain lions and moose and bear. And I asked all of you to read it. You don't have to like it. You can leave a mean comment, but consider reading it. And it's heartbreaking. There's a quality. I think I saw a cartoon. It might have been in the New Yorker, but it was Jesus came back from the dead, right? He rose again. Jesus came back. And he's trying to teach us about kindness. And instead of that, we're all just surrounding him like paparazzi, taking iPhone photos of him, taking Instagram photos of him. And he's saying, to heck with it. So that's kind of what we do to the bison in Yellowstone, right? We surround them and take photos. That's what we did to this moose. We surrounded it and took photos. That's what we did to this baby bear that I do a video about. I didn't ever photo or video the bear. I did a video about him. This little baby bear was stuck in a tree across from our office downtown in Boulder. He was down trying to eat, and then the city woke up, and at 9 a.m., he suddenly found himself surrounded by Instagrammers all day. They got fenced off. There were so many. And I went around asking people nicely, hey, this bear, he's dehydrated. He's shaking with fear. He's a baby. He's peeing and pooping on himself. He can't have food. He can't have water. He's afraid. Stop taking photos of him if you're willing, and then maybe he'll leave. And people were generally really nice. One lady who worked across the street at whatever that hotel is called, told me to F off and said, I'm taking my photo so you can go to hell. That's kind of this arrogance, right? This pride. I got mine. I can guarantee you that lady is not wearing a mask these days, right? And I don't hate her or anything. That doesn't help. But there's a selfishness to humanity that we're seeing a lot of in the world right now. But the fact is, we've lost more than 100,000 dead folks. There's a link in New York Times about how underreported that count is. If you look at the average death counts for every state in the US, let alone around the world, the average death counts are well exceeded beyond the coronavirus count. And yet liberals are getting into this conspiracy theory stuff about how there's undercounts. And maybe there are maybe there's overcounts and undercounts and all this. But this is a devastating pandemic in any case. And as someone said, where is the national mourning? Where is the international mourning? 3,000 people around that died in 9/11, and there was national mourning for years and years and years and years. And there should be about anyone who dies ever. Now we've lost well over 100,000, probably, including the undercounts, probably 150,000 in the US alone. And yet we're not engaging in that kind of care, So there is this quality, and Buddhism talks about it, when we're going through a lot of confusing times, especially if we have a confusing leader, and whether you're liberal or Conservative, we're all buying into his logic when we say it's economy versus lives, right? You can save both. You can pay people to stay home, like they have in many countries. Here's $4,000 a month. Stay home, be safe, pay your mortgage, pay your food, pay your rent. PPP is a wonderful start for that in the US. That's responsible, and that protects our economy, because we don't want our economy to completely be gutted as it is being right now, when we're not really fully paying people to stay home or businesses to close. Then we have to open, and that's kind of what everyone's saying. But we only have to open because we're not using our own tax dollars to care for ourselves. What we're doing is we're paying for a crazy military and all these things we don't need quite so much. Do we need military? Sure, and I honor our military, but we don't need a military in the U.S. that's 10 times the size of the size of the next 10 countries combined. That's my personal view, and you're welcome to disagree, and we can disagree with respect. We can disagree with a sense of humor, and most importantly, openness, and I can learn from you. I disagree with my friends all the time, and I agree with them all the time, and I can learn from them, and you can learn from me, and that's community, right? But there are basic facts, and we need to come back and care about facts. So I often talk about subscribing to journalism. This will be my plug, which is not particularly for Elephant. If you want to subscribe to Elephant, obviously that helps us. But please subscribe to journalism. Journalism is not MSM. It's not a conspiracy. I study journalism. I know what journalists are. They're craftspeople. They're craftswomen, craftsmen who are trying to find truth, and we are paying them to do so. So please pay for and read journalism.